This afternoon's chemistry paper, higher level, examined in section A, as per usual, the experiments that students would have spent the last 2 years doing in the lab and looking at questions on. And the first one was the hardness in water, ethylene diamine tetraacetic acid, or EDTA, titration, which was a nice, straightforward volumetric analysis question with a calculation. Knowledge of formula and knowledge of a test for the hydrogen carbonate ion would have been needed there as well, just to put that one to bed. Then with question 2, I suppose what we have here is we have a mixture of all of the different techniques that would have been involved in the organic experiments, like refluxing, what you call solvent-solvent extraction, and recrystallization of benzoic acid crystals. So again, all topics that would have appeared before or in the past, but just, you know, a kind of a question where they're bringing in as many techniques as they possibly can. Small calculation involved in that one there too, but nothing that should be too difficult really. In question 3, it was the third time that the heat of reaction for an acid and a base came up in this section. A knowledge of your instruments, your hazard symbols, and straightforward calculation once again on how to work out or how to determine the heat of reaction for your acid and your base. In section B of the paper then we had the usual array of short questions. In question 4 you're looking at a little bit more atomic theory, you're talking about some acids and bases, gas laws and displacement reactions. So, you know, again, empirical formula appearing there which would have occurred in the past, so nothing too difficult in that one. Question 5 was a really nice atomic theory question when you consider what has in the past come up. Very straightforward question on isotopes and radioactivity, so I would imagine that would have been a quite a popular choice for students this year. Question 6, your fuels and heats of reaction, with Hess's law, applying it to a calculation, coming up once more. As per usual with organic chemistry, knowing your formulas, knowing how to name your compounds, knowing how to draw them, also important. Question 7, the graph in rates of reaction, interpreting information from it, calculating an instantaneous rate. So again, something that students would have been familiar with had they practiced these questions from before. Question 8, the general organic chemistry question, didn't have any mechanisms in it or evidence for mechanisms, which made it a really nice, straightforward question. A knowledge of the various different organic reactions were involved in it, though, so students would have had to also have known their intermolecular forces of attraction so that you could identify who'd have a higher boiling point and so on. Question 9, in chemical equilibrium, applying Le Chatelier's principle to an equation that was given. They gave us the heat change for the reaction. So again, a calculation, but something that would have been pretty, what students would have been pretty used to doing over the last number of years in this section of the course anyway. So then question 10 and 11 gave what we always say the extra choice. You had more organic chemistry, more atomic theory, some stoichiometry appearing there about a rusting spanner to get your teeth into. And finally in question 11, bonding, which is as per usual normally on the paper, so making its appearance there, acids and bases, and being given a pH titration curve where you have to figure out whether this was appropriate for a strong acid or a weak acid, so I hope that things went well with regards to that one. Option appearing then in question 11, part C, with the various different 2 options being examined, and similarly the option was the last part in question 4. So, all in all, a nice, straightforward, no surprise chemistry paper for 2018.